And now, without further ado, Tanya Rosen, a nutritionist and the owner of Nutrition by Tanya, and she's going to speak to us about self-care, emotional eating, and overall wellness. Okay, good news. Dr. Parikh, who we've just heard, says that if anyone has any questions, she's going to be outside ready to answer your questions. Now, Tanya Rosen.
Hi, everyone. I'm so impressed that people are still here at 10:40 at night. Thank you for sticking around. If you thought this was going to be a diet talk about what to eat and how to lose weight, I'm not talking about that. So if you thought that was it and you want to leave, you could. I'm not going to get offended. But before you leave, I'm going to tell you that what I'm going to talk about is actually way more important than that topic, okay? So tonight I want to talk to you about self-care, but not like the cheesy, generic, cliche self-care that everyone always talks about, but like actual, real, legit self-care. This is a health event, right? And there are so many things that you as a woman are doing that can either benefit from or harm, God forbid, your health that you may not be realizing, okay? So first of all, raise your hand if you think that you're always busy. That's it? Not every single person? Okay. Okay. Now raise your hand if you cannot remember the last time that you sat down properly to a meal. Other than serving your family, but just for yourself. No one's home. It's time to eat. When was the last time that you sat down and gave yourself food nicely like a mensch? Raise your hand if you can't remember such a time. Okay. Okay. So here's what I want to talk about. We're all women, okay? And there's a quality that women have that is amazing, but it could also be detrimental to our health, okay? And that is that as women, we spend the entire day from morning until night taking care of everyone else, right? From the moment you wake up, from waking up your kids, to getting them on the buses, to getting school lunches, to cleaning up the house, to making dinner, to shopping, to errands, to making dinner for your husband, to doing chesed, to making challah for somebody, to making dinner for someone that had a baby. All day long, you are busy with everyone else, right? Sounds familiar? Okay. This is very nice, okay? And this is great. The problem is that when we do this, we are not making any time to take care of ourselves, okay? So a lot of times when people come to me, right, they come to me for primarily 3 reasons, right? Either it's their health, right? Like, forget about weight at this point. Their doctor scared them. They have borderline high numbers. He's threatening to put them on medications. They had a health scare. So either they're coming to me for their health, or more likely, the number one reason, obviously, people come to me is to lose weight. And the third reason that people come to me is because they are emotional eaters, or they think they're emotional eaters, okay? For all 3 of the above that I just said, the answer is, right, of course, proper eating, but also taking care of ourselves, okay? Why does it tie into everything? Okay, the way we eat affects our physical health and our mental health, and the way we take care of ourselves or don't take care of ourselves affects our mental health and our physical health, okay? If any of you have had a kid tell you that they have a crazy stomach ache, right? They have the worst stomach ache and they can't go to school. Sometimes you think they're making it up, right? But sometimes, what is their stomach ache from? If it's not physical, what is their stomach ache from? From anxiety, stress, right? They're nervous about something, right? Or where did the word tension, headache come from? From tension, right? A lot of the physiological things that we experience literally come from us not addressing our needs. Emotional eating comes from literally when we don't have any headspace, when we don't have time alone, when we haven't sat down to eat, and we just need quick stress relief, right? So I am going to give you just like super practical tips, okay? I'm not here to tell you take a 2-hour bath every night, go for a massage once a week, go to Florida once a month, right? Don't worry. It's not going to be fluffy like that, okay? I literally just want to give you a couple of practical suggestions that may almost sound silly, but they're very, very effective, okay? Number one is to sit down every single time you eat, okay? It sounds simple, but when I say this to my clients and they say, yeah, I think I sit every time I eat, and then they come back the next week and they're like, oh my gosh, I did not realize how many times I tip, right? I hop, I eat my kids' leftovers, I'm tasting something, right? So the number one thing, and again, this is not from a diet perspective, although this can't hurt, but just from like being a mensch with food and digesting your food properly, to sit down, okay? Number two is to, my favorite Yiddish word, vergin, right? I love the word vergin, is to vergin yourself to eat normal meals. So many times women will tell me, oh my gosh, I haven't eaten a vegetable in a week. And I say, why not? I don't know, I didn't have time to make a salad, right? And I'll say, I don't understand. Did your kids eat vegetables? Of course. Did your husband get vegetables? Of course. My husband gets gourmet meals. Of course. I'm a good balabusta, I'm a good wife. And I say, so why are you less important, right? For your husband and for your kids, you will wash the lettuce, you will wash the vegetables, you will put it pretty on a plate. And for yourself, when I tell clients, rip open a bag of check lettuce, right? Pour a little ready dressing over it. No, I can't forgive myself that. There's too much to do, right? So my next practical tip is to forgive yourself a proper meal every single day. And to eat versus not eat. When we don't eat, a lot of things happen. It affects our mood. It affects our blood sugar, which can spike and then crash, right? All kinds of things can happen to our blood sugar. And also, when we don't eat, we don't have the proper brain fuel. So if you ever experience brain fog, a lot of times it's from a lack of carbs. When people don't eat enough carbs, they have brain fog, right? So your kid might tell you, Mommy, I told you this yesterday. You don't remember? I told you that I need a $35 for my trip. And you're like, you told me this yesterday? Really? You told me this? A lot of times it's because you're not fueling your brain with enough carbs. So by eating every couple of hours, you prevent the blood sugar spikes. By eating every single food group, yes, carbs, protein, vegetables, even some sweets in moderation, to forgive yourself to eat everything in moderation and like a mensch, sitting, enjoying, treating yourself the way you would treat your husband and your kids, right? You will be healthier both physically and mentally and emotionally. And good news, when people come to me for emotional eating, right, I actually tell them in advance, I say, something very interesting might happen, right? I actually tell them in advance, I say, something very interesting might happen. We might discover that you're not an emotional eater. Imagine, like, let's say you have a kid that was labeled as ADHD or learning disabled in school, right? They gave him that label and you thought you need therapy for him or her, special tutors. And then someone comes along and says, guess what? Maybe he's not ADHD. Maybe he just needed a different program, right? That's so nice. That's such good news, right? So a lot of times I tell people who think that they're emotional eaters, we might discover that you're not an emotional eater. You just weren't eating properly. So when you finally got a chance to eat, you ate everything in sight, right? Or when you finally got a chance to have headspace and alone time because you didn't forget it to yourself all day, you ate everything in sight. But if you eat normally and if you have time alone and headspace in advance, you probably will not be emotional eating and you'll feel physically better and mentally better and emotionally better, okay? So I really encourage you to, I know you heard a lot of things tonight and I'm keeping this short because I know it's late, but I like to just leave you with a couple of practical tools so you could like take them with you, okay? Drink water, eat all food groups, don't do any extremes, eat every few hours, Give yourself a little bit time alone each day. Time alone means no one is calling you, no one is texting you, you're not doing chesed, you're not doing any wife or mother responsibilities. You just have headspace. It's priceless, okay? It is the difference between doing well physically and emotionally versus not, okay? So in conclusion, as women, we are amazing, okay? Really. Women are amazing in every way. The amount that we do from morning till night, a man couldn't handle a day in our shoes, okay? That's the absolute truth, okay? But with every good comes potential bad. We overdo it, right? So I'm just encouraging you to, you're already here, right, at this important event. Okay, maybe you came to win some prizes. That's fine. But you're here because you care about your health, okay? That's already a huge step. But just keep in mind that the healthier you are, physically and emotionally, the better you will be as a wife and as a mother. So it's not selfish to take care of yourself. You are giving your family a better version of you. And I know this is very cliche, okay, but as the saying goes, you can't pour from an empty cup. And as cliche as it is, it's so true that I have to say it. And when you don't take care of yourself, you're an empty cup. So your kids could tell you 100 times that they need $35 for the trip, but you don't even hear them, right? And you won't even feel the symptoms, if there are symptoms to feel, because you're just so busy with everyone else. So I can never tell a woman to put herself first, because whatever, but I could at least say put yourself on the list, okay? So I hope that you're able to do that. No, let me rephrase. You are able to do that. I hope you take this to heart. And I'll be around for a few minutes if anyone has any questions. And thank you so much for staying so late to hear this talk. Have a good night.